Hey guys, Sean here, joined with my brother Royal, and in this video we're going to talk about how to block for beginners. Blocking is one of the most underrated defensive tactics in boxing. That's because most people don't know how to do it right. So let's get into it. Alright, so we gloved up, ready to go, and before we get into the blocking, guys, don't forget to check out the Fight Store. There's t-shirts just like this on there and a ton of other apparel that I know you guys will love. Other than that, let's get into this video. So first and foremost, when you're blocking your shots, the first thing you want to do is be in a proper boxing stance, right? One of the best tips I give you with blocking is to not be too squared up, right? Because if you get in a proper boxing stance, like you see right now, Roy's a little squared up, but if he gets in a proper boxing stance, he'll already be hiding so much of his body. He'll be such a smaller target, right? So he'll have less to block. So after you get your set right, what you want to do is you want to keep the block tight. What a lot of guys do is they make the mistake of keeping their arms out here when they're blocking, right? They block like this. And what happens as a result, when they get hit, they hit themselves. And this causes them to blink, and that makes it very easy to set up the next shot, right? So if I hit him here, boom, he blinks, boom, I'm coming around with the other shot, and now I got all these openings, right? Because it's just going to disorient you. And that's why a lot of guys don't block, because they feel like they're taking damage, right? It's not as much damage as if they got hit cleanly, but they still don't like to block because it's an uncomfortable feeling and it can put you in compromising positions. So what you want to do when you block is keep that block tight. You want to put it really tight to your body and really tight to your face. It's got to be like a turtle shell. It's got to be impregnable, right? So right here you see Roy's keeping a tight guard, so it doesn't matter where I hit him, right? It really doesn't have that much recoil. He's keeping it tight to his face, to his body, right? And you just getting that tight turtle shell. And then your opponent will feel a little demoralized by that because he'll be hitting you and it'll have no effect on you. One of the best fighters to watch for this is Winky Wright. He's one of the highest level fighters who was able to implement blocking as one of his main defensive tactics. He would literally put up the turtle shell, he'd walk his opponents down and beat them down and wear them out. It's how he beat Shane Mosley in his prime. Next, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're not just up here, that you're tucking yourself a bit so you become a shell, right? Just like a turtle gets into a shell, you want to get into your shell, but you also don't want to blind yourself, right? So one thing you want to do is you want to have that window there available to you. So you see when Roy's blocking here, he's not blocking his vision, right? You're able to actually see his eyes, but even though I see his eyes, a punch can't get through here, right? So you want to create that little window, you want to tuck, and you want to be able to see your opponent. This way you can shift that weight, which we'll talk about next. So you see Royal, he's nice and tucked, he's keeping it nice and tight, and he's keeping that window open. And that's that way, when I do throw the shots at him, he sees me coming, right? He sees me coming, and that way he'll know to tighten up when a hard punch is coming. That way he'll know to shift when necessary, and he'll know when he can take advantage of countering my shots. Now, I've always been the type of fighter to depend on head movement and parries and footwork for defense, but I also love blocking. One of the things I like to do when I block is to tuck my chin and bring those shoulders high. It personally really helped me because it allowed me to get that much more tighter. I flex my lats and really just become nice and solid, right? You want to be impregnable. You want to be impenetrable, right? So when you throw your block up, you want to keep it tight, right? You want to keep that window open. You want to go down. You want to raise those shoulders and tuck that chin. So even if they try to get you from the side and you don't have time to block on your side, you're still protecting yourself really nicely, right? You tuck that chin, keep everything tight, and this way it doesn't matter what I do. I'm never really landing a clean shot on you. Next tip is going to be to shift your weight and really just slide the punches off of you, right? So one thing you want to do when you block, don't get me wrong, being static like this is fine, right? It can help you protect yourself against a lot of the straights, but you don't want to be a sitting target. You don't want to just sit there and block for the sake of blocking, right? And the best example I could give you to see what I'm talking about is to watch round 4 of Mayweather versus Pacquiao. When Pacquiao rocked him with that left hand, Mayweather went to the ropes and he wasn't taking no chances trying to move his head around, right? He literally got into a shell, and you'll see him, he wasn't just sitting there, he was moving around as Pacquiao was punching him, right? So what you want to do is, let's say I'm throwing straight, right? Rather than just be straight, you see Royal kind of getting me into his guard, right? Every time I throw a shot, he's getting me into his guard, or if I get closer, he closes his guard, right? And really tighten up as I come at him, right? Another thing you want to do is, nobody's just going to be shooting straights at you, right? If they're a smart fighter, if they're worth being a fighter and they're worth being in the ring with you, they're not just going to be shooting at the guard pointlessly, right? They're going to try to get around that. So one thing they're going to do is they're going to go for the hooks and they're going to go for the body, right? So as soon as they go for those openings, what you want to do is, if they're going to the body, you want to basically kind of pivot your arm here down. And you want to slide those punches off you, right? So if I go to the body here and throw a right hook to the body, you'll see Royal kind of slide that arm off of me. I go back to the body, and you'll see he's going to catch it, right? He's going to catch it with his elbow. And a lot of time, he could actually hurt your opponent by tagging his arm, his fist into the elbow, right? So you see him go to the body, boom, 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 right? Royal's able to block it really nicely. And if I go to the head, he's just going to do a quick block, just like this, right? So you're here, boom, you're just going to do that side hook block that we always talk about in all the other videos, right? So we'll go here, boom, he's just going to slide that arm up just like this, right? Boom, right? So he's going to throw a right hook at me, right? I'll show you how it's done. Boom, just like that, again, boom. And you would just want to do that. You want to slide those punches, right? Make sure you're here, you're moving around, you're shifting your weight. All this stuff is going to help you have a more complete blocking defense. Now, just because you're blocking doesn't mean you should forget about all the other defensive maneuvers, right? Don't just block for the sake of blocking. Don't just be a sitting target. So, for example, let's say Royal is firing off some straights at me, right? And I'm blocking, and I'm watching, right? I still got that window going. I'm watching him, I'm watching him, I'm watching him. And then if he decides to fire off a left hook, boom, I'm here, and I can counter, right? If I can move my head, then I should move my head. Also, if he's firing off the straights, right, and I want to start parrying him and potentially counter-punching, I'm sorry about that. If I want to start counter-punching, right, then that's an opportunity to do so. Especially when you're blocking, you're baiting your opponent, right? So there's an opportunity to do another defensive maneuver and counter off those shots when they feel like they want to open up, then do so. And also, don't forget to use your feet, right? One thing I can do is if I'm blocking and I'm feeling overwhelmed, right? Let's say Royal's shooting those shots, right? I'm blocking. Step away, right? Step away. Don't be afraid to use your feet to step away, and vice versa. If you're fighting a pressure fighter, one thing I used to love to do when I fought pressure fighters, right? What they're good at is they're good at pressuring you. So what you want to do is take that away from them. So what I would do is I would pretend to be backing up, right? Give that pressure fighter what he wants, and then as soon as he starts getting confident, boom, you come in with the block, and you smother his punches. You smother his punches and you start pushing him back. Once you get a pressure fighter on their back foot, they're like kids in the water who don't know how to swim, right? They're like fish out of water, matter of fact. They just don't know what to do. They're so used to pressuring you. So don't be afraid to use your feet, boom, to smother your opponent with the block. Come in tight, boom, and smother those punches, right? Shoot that jab, boom, smother that punch. It won't hurt you, and it'll demoralize them. It'll make them feel weak, and it'll have them confused. And as I just mentioned, you want to make sure you counter off those shots, right? And not just by moving your head and parrying the punches, right? What you can do is you can counter off the blocks, especially if there's a hook coming at you, right? Let's say Roy throws a hook at me as I'm blocking, right? I catch it and I shoot, and I can shoot wherever I want and follow it up, right? So let's say he throws another hook at me, boom, I catch and I shoot back, right? So don't forget to watch your opponent as you block. Blocking is not just for defense, it's to exploit your opponent and watch for their weaknesses. Because let's say Royal's blocking, right? And let's say I'm one of those guys that just, all right, he's blocking, so I think he's hurt. I'm just going to start unloading. And he's watching me, so at any point that maybe I throw a wide left hook, he could shoot that straight right down the pipe, boom, and get me out of there, right? Or at the least case, make me not so brave next time he gets me on the ropes or gets me in the defensive position. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. And if you like the video, like the video. Also, don't forget to check out Royal on all of his social media platforms. He is on YouTube, he is on TikTok, he's on Instagram, he's on Facebook, right? Different ways to consume his content and different formats of content for each of those platforms, right? Depending on what you want to see for inspiration, depending on what kind of information you want. He actually just dropped his YouTube channel, so go check it out. There's a ton of great workouts there that you can see. And also, don't forget to check out the Fight Store, right? You want t-shirts like this, you want to see more content like this in written format. It's all there on the website, brawlbros.com, right? Don't forget to check that out. Other than that, I'm Sean Brawl Brothers. This is Roy Georges, and I'll brawl with you guys next time.